Alrighty folks, I've got a game for you from me versus Triggz on a random generated map. And it has been a while. I'm not sure, but probably 6 months to a year since my last video. So much has changed, both in the game and in my personal life. But yeah, let's focus on the game. We're at a point right now where the meta is pretty heavy, actually bandits and pure nature. Maybe that's just me. I think a lot of it is that Triggz and Joey are both pure nature players, and they're both fairly active in the ladder right now. And then the rest of us are bandits players. This is, maybe the 5th game I played against Triggz recently in a set, but I think this is, we went back and forth. I think this is a nice one to highlight. So this is a generated map. I thought the best position to do was Triggz likes to rush, so I thought he would probably start rushing with some tier 1 units. I thought I'd get some space and go instant tier 2. He waited to see what I was going to do, which is a good call from him, and he went instant tier 2 as well. So this is fine. I think I don't really like playing against Nature Tier 1. I decided to take an early well because I know that he's got power bound more than me, and I don't think that he's able to push efficiently with a deep one on such little power. So I felt pretty safe taking that well, and he took a well as also. One of the things I'm thinking about in a map like this, I kind of realized that actually my positional advantage is not such a huge advantage. I took another well again fairly aggressively because I feel like the power levels are low and I don't think he can push deep one. He takes them as well. So yeah, I want to push the power levels up because there's like a certain point where pure nature doesn't have defense. So for example, if you can just eruption spam, that can take the well. So I felt comfortable trying to push power levels. That's kind of my thinking. But as I was saying, because pure nature, if I start taking a bunch of wells, that's the advantage of map controls, that I could, for example, take this position, I could take either of these positions. But then he's got a really easy time with energy parasites. And I was concerned about that. Triggz invests the 45 power for root. I can just make a squad of Dark Level Assassins. He's got plenty of power in the bank, so I don't necessarily think this was the best move, right? Like, he invested 45 power and the root, lost a spearman. Sorry, he invested 45 power in the root, lost a spearman just to trade with an Ox Trooper. If you can get away with those Spirit Hunters, that'll be good. But I'm not sure if I'm going to try and let him get away. The Dread Charger is good versus them. I've got a good place to play a Rallying Banner, and if I play another squad of Dark Elves, that'll pick off the Spirit Hunters pretty easily. Meanwhile, these Spirit Hunters are coming back into position. And yeah, so I wanna pressure him. Maybe I can get something going, or at least make early trades, because he's made some kind of not optimal trades so far. So I feel that at least in the trading patterns, I'm doing fine. And I want to keep up the aggression. I want to make sure that we're fighting on his base for a couple reasons. One, that neither of us have good defense. So for example, if he runs into a big lava field or a big bandit minefield, then if I'm fighting in his base, I can pretty easily snowball into him. Secondly, he's probably going to play deep ones because they're just super energy efficient, or energy parasites. And if I was fighting at his base, I can kind of remove those before they become super dangerous. So now Triggz has just invested 100 power into 2 energy parasites, which is kind of fine because I failed my attack a little bit. But again, I failed my attack and he was not in a position to do much about it. So I am just kind of waiting and stabilizing. I have kind of a tempo lead right now because, again, Triggz has that 100 power bound in those units. So I make a Wind Hunter, to try and get some of those out. Triggz ended up healing, which I think was not very efficient because he ended up healing 80 power for 1 Spirit Hunters. If you use the Spirit Hunters to get the trade of the Bandit Sniper, that probably was okay move. But he also invested in the roots, so it's not super clear. I moved my Skyfire Drake a little bit out of position, and then I decided that probably with my Bandit Sniper here, I was safe. I thought I'd be able to get a snipe off over there, but not quite. With the Parasite, I accepted my Wind Weaver for dead and let him die. Now, I do notice that Triggz has kind of clumped these two together, which is part of the problem with playing Pure Nature, is it's very micro-heavy. And so I am hoping that he kind of forgets, and then I can get an eruption, and that'd be a super good trade. Even if not, I'm trying to save power so I can double erupt. There we go. There's a single eruption, and I got it. And meanwhile, Triggz is coming in with the Burrowers. I don't think anything's going to happen here, especially with the Bandit Sniper. It could happen, right? If he gets a nice heal, this other bandit sniper was kind of chilling there, not doing much. I decided to just erupt so that he doesn't get a good heal in, and the sniper is going to finish him off. Probably not necessary, but I just wanted to prevent Triggz from getting any snowballing, especially since I'm currently up 1 well. And I know that basically, I would like to get a power advantage, especially because I have more map control, so I can expand further, but Triggz can't. On the other hand, expanding further leaves me very open to an energy parasite. So I felt that probably the best way to go here is just to keep up the pressure so that Triggz can't go tier 3, and at some point the power levels are going to go high enough that just because of Void, I'll be able to rally banner and make some massive attacks. Spear Hunters are going to put in good work, but I think that I'm going to trade fairly well. I decided to Ravage the Wind Hunter, and I thought that if I get a Life Weaving, it might live. I don't think the Life Weaving is going to come out in time, so that was a wasted Ravage. I pull back my Bandit Sniper in time, so he's not going to die, and that's going to force Triggz to retreat. Triggz buys some time, but again, buying time is not necessarily accomplishing anything for him, because as the power levels go up, the game gets easier for me to make a push happen. Now, to be fair, it also gets easier for him because he can kind of heal spam, but he is very dependent on charges for heal because it's kind of one thing. I noticed that when I play Pure Nature, I run out of heal charges a lot, especially the way... Oh, never mind. I was going to make a comment that was not super relevant to this game. I was going to say that Triggz tends to play with a heavy Surge of Light in Tier 1, and that often, I think, leads to him running out of heals in Tier 2. I think my Wind Hunter should change focuses to target this guy, and then am I going to get the second shot, or am I just going to have to erupt? Okay, there we go. One stock got off, so not ideal, but it's also fine. I made a good trade, and now I've got a huge tempo advantage that I can start to push. So if I don't get a well down here, then I suck. And Triggz pointed out something I don't even think about, which is that I can totally just disenchant my... going for the orb, I think, is too greedy for me. I think I should just go for Power Wall. Triggz plays the Paralysis. Yeah, I think, going for the orb is too greedy. I've already taken 1500, right? So I could probably have kicked a Power Wall if I wanted to. Minefield and Hurricane. The Hurricane's not going to kill my guys. The Minefield is going to kill his, so that's going to be a good trade for me. Again, one of the reasons why Bandit tends to do very well against Pure Nature. The Hurricane just barely hits my Spearman. I've got one of these guys alive. That'll force him to waste a shot killing it, or I can potentially use it for a Motivate later. You can see Triggz is able to defend right now. But part of the problem with Pure Nature is that you need to have units up ahead of time. So if the power level reaches high enough, you can see the voids right now, like 600, right? When the power level reaches a certain size, I keep going for the orb, which I think is just a mistake. But yeah, as power level goes to a certain range, then I can just kind of spawn units super fast. And yeah. Let's put the Parasite. Again, I should disenchant. Actually, I don't have ground presence, so I couldn't disenchant. So far, nothing is happening either side. And I do want to mention, this is a very good matchup for bandits. So I certainly have an advantage playing this deck against Triggz. Triggz, again, plays a little tempo. I used a Lava Field to wipe out, I think, one batch of Spirit Hunters, and then I'll probably clean up the Ghost Spears with the help from my Orb. He's coming in with a Deep One, but Wind Hunter counters Deep One very effectively. Hopefully if I can get one shot on this Ghost Spear. There we go, the Minefield should do it. This Energy Parasite, I need to not forget about it, but at the same time it's a tempo loss for Triggz. His Wind Hunter dies, and I can just kind of erupt this at any time. An eruption, it's a bad trade, but he's lost a lot of tempo, so that I'm probably making good trades over here. And I should be able to erupt this in time too, but no, I decided to play Wind Hunter instead, and he gets a second suck off. So that's 50 power that Triggz has over me in terms of long-term power. You can see that I've also spent more power than him. I've had my wells up a little bit longer than him, so it's not clear how significant the difference is here. But I feel like I'm still in a very comfortable position, especially now that we get to high power levels. I'm able to get past his roots, so he's going to have a tough time stopping this. There we go, because the minefield is going to keep these guys off. I decided I didn't want to invest in another rally banner. I would just make some undazed units. There we go, I had power for the life weaving. And can I get out of the paralysis in time? I can. And then I can reapply my ravage, and this well is going to have a difficult time. He's got his ghost spears, but for only 50 power, I can play Dark Elf Assassins and pretty much eliminate those ghost spears. So this well is definitely going. I've gotten Triggz out of position enough. Now, if he gets both these ghost spears in range to heal, that could be dangerous. Looks like he was just a little bit not early enough, and I was able to drop this well. So Triggz is still fine if he gets the counter push, which he might get at some point. I think not right now. And I decided to, I was tempted to take a well. I thought it would be better to play just a little bit safer and to push harder. Oh, there we go. There's a deep one, which again is scary. The sniper got one shot off. If I can erupt, it'll be fine, but he got out of eruption range. And so I'm deciding to just push here again. And I think I'm going to lose this well, but Triggz is going to lose this well also. That was a weird thing for me to do. I think I crawled into paralysis range too. Nope. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to lose this well, especially because he can keep healing. And if I could just nasty right now, but if I erupt, it'll be fine. There we go. And I was able to erupt. I'm not sure what happened to my sniper here, but yes, I've got these Dark Elves here. Those are also not in the fight. So far, I'm up one well. It's 4 wells versus 3 wells. And Triggz might be able to kick this well also. Meanwhile, these Dark Elves has been out of the fight this whole time. And there you go, very good. Triggz has managed to equalize. I think I'm going to force him to trade fairly poorly, especially because of the Wind Hunter. He keeps going in to attack further. I don't think that's going to yield anything, especially with the minefield coming out. So he forced out a heal. Oh, the sniper was just sitting over here doing who knows what. Meanwhile, my archers are finally over there, and I think they're going to die to the poison. So good on Triggz for noticing that. Looks like a parasite took out my Drake. So perhaps Triggz is getting something down, but I think he's just kind of investing CC and nothing's happening. Meanwhile, this well is very low, and that Nightcrawler that I spawned just before my Dark Elves died is probably going to be able to take this, especially looks like Triggz actually is going to be able to drop this, but I'm going to counter with removing here. I moved my Dark Elves to try and get out of the parasite. Well's dropped here, but I think the well is going to drop here also. Right, because I can just kind of spawn units at will, especially if I get a Rallying Banner down, and now I've got more units coming in with tempo. Especially the Wind Hunter is very powerful. He plays a Parasite to kill it, and that's fine. That is effective for him to do it that way, but with him wasting tempo, I'm still able to get things down. Now I've got a big army, and this is a dangerous push for Triggz. And I decided that I wanted to push all the way instead of taking a power wall. It's also very tempting to take a power wall because I'm in a position to pressure him, so he can't really take a power wall, and I could try and get a little bit of an economic advantage that way. But I think we're at that stage where he's going to have trouble defending. Yeah, when he plays the Parasite, I just stop defending, and I figure I'm just going to let the Drake die. He gets to have a nice tempo win, but then I can play another Drake, and then this is difficult for him to handle. Yeah, Triggz has done a good job holding this, actually. That minefield was not very useful. It was pretty misplaced. You can see only one mine is even going off. But I'm able to get a really close Rallying Banner, and that's going to be dangerous. So Triggz is going to try to base trade. I'm going to have the Wind Hunter out in advance, and that's going to be difficult for him to deal with. He's played the Parasite, but he had to play Parasite and a heal. So that was a good trade for me. And his deep one decides to start coming back. Meanwhile, I keep applying pressure. The Dark Elf Assassins are going to do good work against the Spirit Hunters. Triggz comes all the way back because he decides to play defense. There's the Caribbean Paralysis. My Drake tries to get out of the way. It looks like I'll make it. And then I can come back and keep pressuring. And here comes another Rallying Banner. And I think, actually, because my Rallying Banners are not upgraded, for some reason I have a horrible time getting Rallying Banners. And I just never get them, yeah. Even with reforging, I don't get Rallying Banners. I've reforged so many fire cards and still no Rallying Banners. But anyway, yeah. Again, just going to let my Drake die, and then I'll just spawn a new one. Meanwhile, the minefield is keeping the small units backed away. He's going to CC, but I can just start playing more units again. And especially since he's played that CC, I can now kind of start instant frenzying. I decided to just pick off that unit right there. This would be a good position for another minefield. And yeah, you can see that he can trade, but as long as I can keep spawning units that attack his monument, it's going to be bad. And there we go, there's a Shadow Phoenix. I think it's going to get out in time before the paralysis. Yeah, just barely. And that's going to kick the monument. And I thought this was game, but you can see we still have 15 more minutes. So Triggz did a marvelous job holding on. And yeah, Triggz is really good at holding on to losing positions and oftentimes turning them around into winning positions. But yeah, so very good trades here. I can take a monument, and Triggz is going tier 2 again. But I've got excellent ground presence, so I'm denying him tier 3, and I'm up 1 well. Plus having killed more of his wells than he's killed of mine. So, yeah. Let's look at Triggz' power. So yeah, so Triggz has a ton of power, just because the game has gone on for a long time, and because he's gotten a couple energy parasite sucks off. There's the parasite, which is very good for me because it means that his parasite is not going to be on my Drake, which means my Drake is very safe. The parasite over here is doing pretty good work though. I think I should probably play a minefield, but I've decided to just kind of go orb focusing. The lava field is trading reasonably well. But Triggz is getting good heals. He's playing his units, and I'm not getting the best minefields, and Triggz is defending this. Yeah, so I've only got the... I should also mention that right now, my charges are super duper low. I think I'm out of charges on everything, so I'm playing them units like one at a time. But yeah, with this super buffed Wind Hunter, Triggz is going to have a really hard time unless he plays a Parasite Swarm. And that's one change that I think has... hurt nature in this matchup, at least, is the Parasite Storm can't instantly take over. So as long as I can keep having the tempo to double buff this Drake, there's nothing he can do about it. On the other hand, he's putting in super high damage on my well here, especially because I'm out of charges. So he's able to kick this well, and if he can retake ground presence here, yeah, good heal. He's got to be out of heals by now, though. There's a minefield. I mean, I'm obviously out of minefield charges too, but being out of minefield charges is not as significant as being out of field charges because minefield already has a low cooldown, whereas heal has no cooldown. So being out of charges, maybe increases the minefield cooldown by like, let's say 10%, whereas it increases the Surge of Light cooldown by, going down from like 2 seconds to 40 seconds. So that's a huge increase in the delay between that. Yeah. And yeah, it looks like he was able to get that heal in time. And I decided to just kind of change targets and try and push his orb down. I've got power. Triggz has tons of power as well, because I've got more units bound in tier 1, whereas he doesn't have anything bound. He plays the Parasite. I decided to just move it out of the way so the Parasite doesn't get anything good, and there's no way that I'm not able to kick this well again. But yeah, I mean, Triggz is really doing a great job holding on, and he's got, his power's pretty low now. There's the minefield. Looks like he is going to just go on to attack and hopefully trade bases. In his hope, at least. But he's only got 1 Brower and heals to support, and his heals have to be running low on charges. So he decides to actually come back and go for tier 2, I think. Meanwhile, I decide that I don't want to take a well because I don't want to lose it, and because I feel the tempo is good enough to go. And then instead of chasing this with like 300 power, I think I did decide to take a well, actually. And then he's rooted my Nightcrawler. Very good move. I think what I'm going to do is have 1 Wind Hunter just attack this orb, and then the rest of my army is going to go try to clear his base down here. Let's note again that Triggz has tons of power because of his Void. Meanwhile, my army is coming in. This should trade very well against tier 1 units. There's the minefield. Not doing super well, but it's it's getting its worth at least, right? It killed a 70 power unit and bought a little bit of tempo. The Parasite is killing the Skyfire Trig. Meanwhile, my Nightcrawler, which chased his burrow over here, and eventually, no, I stopped chasing his burrower. I'm coming back to attack. And there we go. I'm certainly kicking that well, which puts me quite up high on wells. And I should probably just erupt this burrower, but I'm also focused on this orb over here. There's a Shadow Phoenix. I think the Shadow Phoenix is a little bit ambitious. I'm not sure if enough units have died here. And he can CC to make it stop. Yeah, he oinked it. And I was able to get the Rallying Banner up in time. Meanwhile, this burrower is still hitting me. And the burrower one shot was able to kill the well. But I still have 2 wells up. And meanwhile, Triggz has only 1 well up. But at this point, the Void power is so high that we're pretty much running off a Void at this point. But Triggz is, yeah, that lava field was not very good. I was just hoping he didn't have energy for a heal. But as you can see, actually Triggz is kind of low on energy now. And yeah, you can see that I'm very low on energy. I'm struggling to get energy to play things. I still have the Rallying Banner over here, which is part of the problem, but I think it's good that I'm trying to keep map control, because that I think is the only way that I lose is if Triggz gets tier 3, because he's got to be out of charges too, so he can't like double deep one. So he's playing this 1 deep 1 for 1 Wind Hunter, plus since he can't heal spam, I don't think there's a way for him to dangerously push me. But with this high Void power, if he goes tier 3, suddenly the game changes. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm nursing a huge power advantage, but props to Triggz for this game lasting so long. I think it's very intensely going back and forth, and at this point I'm realizing like I'm out of charges too. So it's a very real possibility that Triggz is managing to hold on, and then my economic advantage is kind of meaningless if he can go tier 3. The rest of my army is coming in. Again, I still got 1 well. I've got 2 wells versus Triggz' 1 well. But he's, yeah, doing a very good job of trading and staying in the game. This would be a very powerful position for a minefield, but it's probably on cooldown. I decided to lava field instead, and that was definitely worth it. And now I decide to still go for the well again. I think at this point, the economy is kind of meaningless, and especially that well doesn't have, I mean, it's still got 200 power left, but yeah, it's probably more havoc than anything else. There's a minefield just to get his deep one away, and then my spearmen will be able to effectively attack there. I'm going to wait for the paralysis to go off and then probably spawn another unit. There we go. I decided to just spawn over here so I can attack before his well can repair. He doesn't have power to repair though, so it's kind of fine. Wind Hunter, obviously very good because that'll trade well into his things. If I get the power for an eruption, I don't need the eruption. But yeah, and then his Parasite's going to kill my Wind Hunter. And yeah, another point to notice, I think, is that the lack of charge is good for him, because obviously Wind Hunter doesn't have a charge, but Parasite Swarm just Parasite does. I decide to go tier 3, and this is a big tempo swing, which is Triggz doesn't have power, but we'll see if he manages to kick this. Then this will be the opening he gets back in the game, and it's a little bit scary. I play a minefield to back him away, so I'm certain that this tier 3 is going to get up. His 2 burrowers are over here are going to put in good work. He's making another burrower, so very good on Triggz, going all in on the attack. And also, if I lose this, right, then I lose all my fire orbs and I lose all my map presence. So this actually is a very dangerous threat that he has. Lava field, and I don't think he has heal up, so I probably didn't need to spawn Lancer, but I did. And now I'm out of charges to defend here. So I'm making Coldest Master, and this orb is actually going to drop for sure. I mean, not for sure, but yeah. I'm going to drop this orb, and that is very scary, because I'm kind of like, now I'm down to, tier 1.5, because I've got the Shadow units, so I've got Nightcrawler, right? 1 charge of Nightcrawler, and 1 charge of Dark Elf Assassins. and Shadow Phoenix, I guess. So that's what I'm pushing in now. But I don't have Rallying Banner, I don't have Ravage, I don't have any of the Bandits cards like Wind Hunter or Bandit Sniper, and no Minefield. So now the Burrowers are dangerous again. Triggz is keeping the Burrowers a little bit far apart. I'm not sure, I think he should come in and heal them up. But I have map control, so that's good enough to play tier 3. You can see that my power is still very low, and Triggz is quite high because I guess the power levels are overall very low because we traded a bunch, which means that my 250 power investment into Void Power was quite significant. And Triggz is getting another Monument kick here. I should also note right now that Trigg's score is higher than mine, so that even if I'm stabilizing tier 3, if I don't manage to completely wipe out Triggz, or at least bump up my score by the time the game ends, which is in 4 minutes, then Triggz is still winning. So this game, I think, looked one-sided for pretty much the entire time, but Triggz very much still has an opportunity to win here. And that's, I don't know, I think it's exciting gameplay, and it's not a very good feeling for me that, it's like I feel like I'm winning the whole time, and now suddenly there's a Triggz as counterplay. But I think it's very good, exciting. Okay, I'm proud of myself for that, using the Dark Elf Assassin to slow it down, mitigate his ability to map control, and then, oh, sorry, I am me. Okay, my score is higher than his. So his odds of winning outscore are not so good. But at the same time, it still could happen, right? Because he's seemingly got a lot more power than me. Very good pulling out the Burrowers, but I think I am going to stabilize here. And meanwhile, I'm pushing hard, and his Spearmen are doing a good job. I don't even have the power to Rallying Banner, so I'm just playing the Lancer. Here's the Cultist Master over here. I might want to Ravage it. Meanwhile, Burrower is coming in to try and take out my very vulnerable Fire Orb again. I think he is defending here, but with the Lancer, that might get tough. I did manage to get the Rallying Banner up, and he's going to have a little bit of a difficult time removing it, especially if he's focusing on the Burrowers. The Minefield, will the Orb kill? The Orb shot the wrong one, but I'm able to drop this Orb, and that makes, now he's going to have a difficult time getting his tier 2 back up. As long as I can keep my ground presence here, my power is pretty low, but he's only defending tier 1 and I've got tier 3, so I think I will be able to close this out. On the other hand, there's only 2 minutes left, so there's always the stalling game aspect. I decided nasty. I think I just wanted to do that so that he would have lower health because he's out of heals. So, yep, Triggz is running away. I guess to make one last hurrah to get his Nature Orb. I'm cleaning up here. And good micro. Triggz is really just trying to last as long as he can. Props to him. I think that's kind of funny. And there we go, there's Eruption that ends it. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I certainly enjoyed it. Obviously, part of why I enjoyed it was that I won, but I think, props to Triggz. This is a very difficult matchup, and he kind of used all the tricks that he could to stretch this out and make his win conditions possible. So a good game, and I think it's also pretty exciting to see like Bandits versus Nature in the meta. That's a pretty interesting spot. I know a lot of people, myself included, are not really happy with Bandits right now because they feel it's kind of too strong. But that's neither here nor there. For most of you who have watched the 150 videos I've got before Bandits were in the meta, this is probably really fresh and exciting. So I've been playing a lot of Bandits recently. Probably, if I've got time, some of those videos will go up on the channel. And those of you who've been playing recently maybe get sick of it, but maybe for those of you who have not tuned in 6 months or a year, welcome back and give it a try. The balance is a lot different, and I think it's still more exciting. So, thanks for watching.